and today I'm going to deal with a new lesson on slangs. Well, what are slangs really? Slangs are nothing but the usage of English words in an informal way. Well, because we are using English words in an informal way, you've got to be very careful about the fact that you don't use slangs with your boss, you don't use it with your elders or your teachers, but you might use it with your friends, your co-workers, or anyone that you are particularly close to. Another very important aspect of knowing slangs is the fact that they are not uniquely derived words, which means that you will not find them in a dictionary, but they are words that are derived from other words or maybe other slangs. For example, I may have a friend called John, who is really a friend of mine because he's good to me. He tells me really nice things. He does things for me when I am available. But what happens when I'm not there? Behind my back, he really goes around telling bad things about me. He tells people that I'm mean, that I'm selfish, that I'm not really who I say I am. And that really makes him my enemy, doesn't it? Well, you may say he is a friend and yet he is an enemy. Well, that brings me to a new slang that I can use to call John, called a frenemy. Well, a frenemy is nothing but a person who is a friend and who is yet an enemy. So John is my frenemy. That's how slangs come about, by deriving a word out of two common English words. I will now take you through some very common English slangs. The first one we're going to deal with is to blow out of here. To blow out of here means nothing but to leave, to exit, to come out of a place. For example, if you are in a movie theater and you're watching a really, really boring movie, which is kind of driving you crazy, then you might say something like, "It's time I blow out of here," which means that it's time I leave, I exit from this place. The second very commonly used English slang is a pain in the neck. Well, I don't know how many of you have had a pain in the neck, but I can tell you for a fact that a pain in the neck is a very, very annoying thing, which leads me to believe that a slang called a pain in the neck means nothing but something that is very annoying. So, for example, I can say that my little baby brother is very annoying, or my little baby brother is a pain in the neck because he probably irritates me by asking too many questions, or he just doesn't do what I tell him to do. So that's what a pain in the neck is, something that is very annoying. Okay, our next slang is zapped out. Well, what does the slang zapped out mean? Zapped out means nothing but being completely tired, completely exhausted. And how do I use it in a sentence? My sentence can go something like, "I was really zapped out after a very long day at work," which means you were really tired, you were really exhausted after a long day at work, probably because you had numerous phone calls to attend, you had a lot of paperwork to attend to, you had a lot of clients to meet, you know the drill. So that's what zapped out means. Alright, our next slang is catch some Z's. Z's as in the letter that comes after the Y. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. What exactly is catching some Z's? Catching some Z's is nothing but getting good sleep or going to get some good rest. Now, after you are zapped out, like we talked about earlier, you might want to catch some Z's. So maybe you're trying to catch a flight in the next 7 hours, but before you do that, you want to really be well rested, and that's when you can say something like, before I take my flight, I might need to catch some Z's. Okay, the next slang I've got for you is a very interesting one, and that's called screw around. Well, what exactly is screw around? Screw around is nothing but something that a lot of us do at some point of time in our day, and that is waste time. Now, don't act like you don't do it, because a lot of you screw around. What do you do when you are working? Maybe you have a phone call to attend, but you kind of just take personal calls. Sometimes when you've got to work, do some research, you use the computer for, going onto Facebook or Twitter. That's called screwing around, okay? So we are all guilty of doing those kind of things. And if I want to put that in a sentence, how do I put it? I can say, if you screw around too much, you will be fired. Okay, well, I don't mean you, but screwing around is nothing but wasting time while you're actually at work. Well, the next slang is a very interesting one. It's called far out. What does far out really mean? Far out means nothing but something that is really great, something really out there, something that really gets you in the mood. And this slang is mostly used to describe music. So, for example, if you've gone to a rock concert and you're watching your favorite rock band playing, you can use a slang saying that this music was really far out because it really got you grooving, it really got you on your toes, it really made your day out there. That's called far out. Our next slang talks about something that we all do at least twice or 3 times in our lives, maybe more, and that's called goofing up. Well, if I say I have goofed up, what do I mean? I mean that I've made a serious mistake. Well, that's all right because we all goof up, but now let's try to put this slang into a sentence. What can I say? I can say that I goofed up by coloring my hair purple, or I goofed up by painting my house red. Oh my God, that's a really serious mistake, right? Well, goofing up, as I said, is nothing but committing a serious mistake, and we all goof up. Our next slang is making waves. Well, we all know how waves are, right? They kind of create a ripple. It's not a calm river that does not have any kind of movement, but it always has a lot of movement, a lot of tension. So making waves is nothing but causing trouble. So basically there is no calm, but there's a bit of tension, there's a bit of movement. So if I want to apply this slang into the sentence, I can say that the politician's controversial speech made waves around town. We all know that a really strong talk from a political leader can create a bit of tension amongst people, and therefore the speech made waves around town. The next slang that we are going to go into is the word bummed. Well, what does the word bummed really mean? It means nothing but being depressed, being really sad, being really down because you're not happy about something. And if I want to put that slang into a sentence, I could say something like, after I heard the news about the recession, I was really bummed considering that there were very few jobs available already. So being bummed is nothing but being really sad, being really depressed about something. My next slang and my last slang for the day is really an interesting one, and that's called airhead. Okay, imagine a head full of air. Well, what does that mean? I'm referring to a really stupid and a dumb person. So please don't ever tell a person on his face or on her face that she or he is an airhead, because you're actually telling that person that he is really stupid. Now, I want to use that in a sentence because my sister, she's dating a boy who is an airhead. All he has is a lot of muscle, but absolutely no brains. And therefore, I want to say that my sister is dating an airhead. Well, that's it from me on this lesson on slangs. I hope you found it very interesting. And as I said, they're slangs, they're informal words. So don't try to use it in a business setting. Use it with your friends, with your colleagues, or maybe with certain people of your family. Well, now it is time to take a test to see how much you've really understood slangs and what their meanings really denote. To do that, please click onto the link in the description below this video and find out. Also, subscribe to our videos and be updated with the most recent lessons that we've got. Until then, this is me saying goodbye. I will be back with some more lessons. See you soon then.